Well, Ruth Galpin, welcome to Heart of the City.
Hi, Amy. Thanks
Hi.
for having me.
Listen.
Very excited.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad to dive in. I actually was just with you yesterday. We had our first one-on-one, which was awesome. And I did all the things. I ugly cried. We laughed. We learned a lot. So I'm honestly mentally prepping for today. I was like, this is going to be so good.
Get ready.
So if you don't know Ruth, she's an amazing coach for both business owners, people just in life, business, all the things. And
Thanks.
you also are a multifaceted businesswoman yourself and a mother, and I can't wait to dive into all the things.
That's a great intro. Thank you.
Okay, Ruth, I want to start out with just kind of defining what is an inflection point. You use that term a lot on your website, kind of your title, like what's an inflection point?
I'm going to tell a story. You'll find there's lots of stories to answering things. But several years ago, I went to a program for solopreneurs and coaches and consultants called Indie Collective. It's really lovely. And you're there for 10 weeks with a bunch of other people sort of in similar phases. And you go through programming they've created, and then they have A teams. And so they try to put you with other folks who are trying to grow their businesses from similar places, or maybe, but not all in the same industry. It was really cool. And so one of the highlights of the programming was all about productization. You think about, even in the work that you do, you can only be in one place. So as every business owner reaches that place where whatever they've built starts to expand past their capacity. So then you're like, oh, can I create a product? And what does that look like? So that session, there were a couple sessions that sort of delved into the ideal client profile, the ICP. And when I sat there thinking about, at that point, I'd been coaching for 2.5 years. Who were these people and what did they have in common? Many of them are women, but it felt small to say that that was the thing, that I coached women. Many of them were working, but it felt weird to say they were just working. But when I thought about the movement, the action, the transformation that they were in, what I found is that they were in inflection points. They were in moments where they had decisions to make, either practically, pragmatically, courageously, that were really going to change their lives. And they were corners that they were walking around that they'd never walked around before. And it made a lot of sense to me to try to then explain that my coaching was about inflection points and about having a partner to walk beside you when you're tipping into something or standing on the edge of a cliff. I think about that one too. And you're going to jump. What if you got to do it with someone else?
Tethered
Together.
So nice.
But so that's what I mean by an inflection point. It is this moment where your path is diverging and there's a lot of paths to take, and trying to figure out why you would take one over the other, if there's choice, or if there isn't choice, what does it look like to change the perspective in which you walk down the next path? And does that in fact offer you something that you didn't have before? Because sometimes your perspective is the only thing you can control. And we're stuck with it. We're stuck with the glasses that we wear.
So true. Oh, that was great. So do you often feel like when people come to you, they're at like a place of burnout?
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it widely depends.
Yeah.
I have people going from one job to another job in the same industry. You have people going from one industry, let's say nonprofit, to pivoting back into the corporate world, and sort of the juxtaposition of those things. You have people launching businesses, and how do they do that? You have people going from single to married, or married to kids, or going through loss, or even in this like later seasons of life. So it's not necessarily any one way.
I can imagine.
But burnout's huge. And it is, when I think of my inflection point, I was in massive burnout. And the year that I leaped out was that terrible 2020 year. And I was so miserable and I didn't know what it was. And I was looking at, the threads of my life. Was it being a new mom? Was it me and my husband? Was it my health? Was it just this moment in time? In that sandwich generation where they say you're watching your parents age as you're raising little people. And so my mom went into hospice that year and
Mm,
was in the hospital, and like all year long we thought we were going to lose her.
mm,
And you are like not allowed in hospitals. It was
mm,
just such a
mm,
wildly
mm, mm.
dangerous year. And, you know, having moments with myself because everything slowed down. We think about that weird COVID year where it all slowed down, where I could deal with myself in really painful ways.
Uncomfy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh God, I hate work. Like shit. It's terrible. And um, being in a privileged position to be able to be like, oh, I'm gonna do something different.
Mhm.
My friends joked I was retiring.
So you were living in the Bay Area.
No, we'd moved
You had
here.
already moved here. Okay.
Yeah.
Working remote for a company in the Bay Area.
hmm
Okay. And it was tech sales.
It was
So,
post. So, in the sales process, you have the person that kind of hunts to find the first deal. And then you have those people that renew those contracts to deliver on said promises. So I've done both. I've done hunting and then sort of they call it customer success or account management, depending
mhm.
on who you're talking to in the
Kind of the
business.
retention.
But
Yeah.
because I'd been in sales, I always wanted to own the revenue. Like there's a lot of value to owning the amount of money that a company needs and to be holding on to that and understanding those problems. And so, yeah, I was helping deliver on promises I didn't sell,
So,
which is interesting. It was a
oof.
tricky year,
Yeah.
crowded market. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like your credibility in and of itself, just not even knowing that piece of it is huge. But then like you actually living it and like coming to that point yourself and like really knowing firsthand what that looks and feels like. What does it feel like to be at an inflection point? Like, do you think people recognize it?
I was just kind of unhappy,
Yeah.
like low grade depressed.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not happy, I go also to anxious. Like we all have our flavors.
Hmm.
And yeah, just trying to get to the root of like, what is this? And
Yeah.
is there anything I can do about it? And I said earlier, like sometimes there is privilege to do something like I did, where I'm like
Yeah.
radically change my environment and step away from, a lot of work in a career that didn't necessarily have an end goal, but like
Was
I was
lucrative.
happy and was moving and
Yeah.
had opportunity in it, and definitely be 5 years later in a very different position if I'd stayed there, right? Um, but yeah, I feel really blessed that I got to be, me and my partner looked at our money and looked at our life, and he's like, "Go for it, just be done."
So you fully walked away in
Yeah.
2020.
I went 2021. Yeah,
Okay.
February of 2021. I went to my manager and I was like, I can't keep doing what I have been doing. Can we negotiate? And I work in a different role in the company. And she was amazing. She's a total badass. And she was like, yeah, we can. And she kind of came back to me and was like, you'll get to move to this team, but it'll be a while. And I think my only regret is like, I didn't know once she said it would be a while, I'd say I'd quit. But in some ways, like I wasted her time a little bit. I
Yeah.
didn't waste my time because I needed to know that. I needed to
Yes.
stand up for myself,
Yes.
go in and negotiate, ask for what I needed,
Yes.
right? And then from there, sat down with my husband, we're both just like,
We don't have a while.
I don't have a while. I need
No.
to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's scary though. And I definitely
Yeah.
felt like I had to come to grips with my ego a lot. That thing where like when I meet somebody and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm in tech sales and I do this and I do this and I make this money
Mhm.
and I hold this, and
Mhm.
feeling like, oh, when I let go of that, well, shit, who am I anymore?
It's
And will
like
people be impressed by me anymore?
mhm.
And
It's definitely like mourning a version of yourself.
yeah, especially when it's a version of yourself that was mainly for other people. You're like letting go of a bunch of things at the same time.
Totally. Did you notice that at the time?
It
That
was
it was
really
for other
hard.
people?
Um,
Or it's like kind of in your reflection now. You're like, wow.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay. And maybe you probably enjoyed that praise. Like I probably
Oh,
would.
hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just when people are like, oh, you do
Oh,
that. To be
wow.
a woman
Yeah.
in sales, there's not that many of us. And
No.
so,
And tech space and
yeah, like most of
out of
those
California, like that's
environments
a big
were,
deal.
It
Yeah.
was a thing. And
This episode is brought to you by Forte Fitness. What I love about Forte's personal training approach is it isn't focused on body image or outward appearance, but rather lifelong wellness and functional movement. Forte has been an integral part of my life and has seen me through a lot of seasons, including 2 pregnancies, 2 postpartum seasons, and now juggling 2 babies while still doing my best to prioritize my workouts. The team at Forte is all about meeting you where you are. Whether you've never picked up a weight in your life or you're ready for the next challenge, there is a place for you. Your first step will be a one-on-one consultation with the owner, Adam Lozano, and from there, he will pair you with the best trainer to meet your goals. Text Adam at 423-838-0086 to set up your consultation and mention Heart of the City to get your first 3 personal training sessions for free.
So yesterday you shared with me something that like you asked your 80-year-old self. I want you to share that. It was so good.
yeah, I think, it was Christmas time. I took a break and I'm just like sitting with myself and kind of reached out to 80-year-old me. She's cool. And asked her, like, will I care about this? Will, like, all the work, all the stress, and just not being present in my body, not being present. I had a 2.5-year-old at the time, not being present with my partner, just like surviving. Was it worth it? And I didn't have a big why at that point on what my career meant to me. Pre-kid, I'd kind of been like, oh, I'm going to go be a female leader that sits in the middle of not being mean and not being so friendly that it looks like a lot of things. I wanted to like be in this place I wasn't seeing that I think wouldn't have even worked in years past for all the women that have stood up to be leaders ahead of me. But once I had a kid, I was like, I don't know if I care about that anymore. And the sacrifice of it, because it's a sacrifice when you choose different things, right? Our yeses mean no's in other areas like we talked about yesterday. So yeah, well, 80-year-old me is like, yeah, you're just not going to give 2 fucks about this. Like, not even a little bit. And that was so calming because in the moment, if I'm not looking forward to who I want to become or what I care about later, I'm just in the hustle.
For no reason.
Yeah, am I pretty enough, strong enough, make enough money, have the best job, spending my time the right way, whatever it is, it's like, no.
No.
I can't
No.
do all the things. Yeah.
Oh God. What do you feel like, was there like a lie that the hustle culture sold you?
You and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Like, I'm an Enneagram 3 also. So in my childhood, achieving was important. And it was a way that in many areas of my life, I got attention and that I figured my worth out. And I got these little like hits, these affirmation hits. It's like dopamine, but like stronger and you
Yes.
chase them so hard.
Yes.
And the beauty of midlife can be that you begin to question, why do I care about this? Or like, who is this for? Or where am I going? Or the dips when you're waiting for someone to notice you and think you're worthy. Like the highs are high and the lows they suck. So yeah, I think it just all felt like it was like when you're walking down the beach and where you're heading looks close, but it's not close.
It's
and you're
not
just
close.
Still walking. It is that like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Man. What part of that season of your life do you feel still grateful for?
Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime we struggle, we create spaces for empathy. Anytime we fail, like early in my sales career, I was thinking about this earlier. I was put on performance plans. They're called PIPs. If anyone who's listening is in sales, they suck. They're stressful. And in my first 2 roles, I had seasons where I wasn't like hitting the numbers. And so I got put on PIP. And then luckily, for whatever, luckily we'll say, I worked my way through those. And I'm thankful it didn't all just work out right away because we are only able to understand often the things we've gone through. So if our roads are easy, when someone else's road is hard, we can't see the privilege of our easy And so we're just like, we'll just stand up and like figure it out.
Yeah.
Or like I had a lot of infertility issues and they sucked. And I'm thankful that I got to have a baby, right? I have two, but I don't want to forget how hard that was. Or my postpartum was really hard and like that sucked. It was really bad. I like lost myself. But I don't want to forget that because I want to be able to like look at a person in the same situation and be like, dude, I remember. And it was awful.
Yeah.
Um,
So true. Yeah, so you're grateful for it because you're just like, man, I'm so much better for it. Like I know so much more. I appreciate so much
I think I'm
more.
just a kinder human.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm very, I don't know if all threes are like this. My husband jokes I'm like a thoroughbred horse where like you put me on a line and you say go, the blinders turn on and I just go. There's this story. We're at this like favorite bagel shop in Oakland, California together. And we're getting our bagels. We're waiting. They were so good. And we're waiting and he's like, they call our name and you just beeline for the bagel. You literally like move this woman over. And the woman's like, "Ah." And he's like, and you didn't notice.
Oh my
And he's like, you go into parties and you like shut the door in my face because like you are about the thing that is next. And so it's
This
like,
is why my friends hate to play games with me.
right?
Too
'Cause we're just-
competitive.
yeah. And it's like,
They're like, Ames, chill.
yeah. So it is kind of trying to like, there are ways about how we show up where,
Yeah.
you know, without some bumps and bruises, can you imagine what we would be like? Holy hell.
No,
The
the world isn't ready.
No.
We are literally about to say
No.
the same thing.
No, and
Yep.
maybe we just become wild narcissists.
Literally,
I don't know.
yeah. Please spare me from that.
Yeah.
Oh God. So do you feel like motherhood, do you feel like it kind of like softened your ambition or did it sharpen it?
I don't feel like ambition's an interesting word. A lot of like my career is very pragmatic. My husband went and got like a 4-year master's and then just adulting's hard. So it took a while for him to land a job and then that job didn't really work. And so I just, without a plan,
Yeah.
it took me until my early 30s to be like, wait a second. I'm kind of like, I can do things.
Yeah.
Who knew that? Because I was raised by, my dad worked full time and my mom was at home. And the bubbles that I lived in didn't have those things, didn't have women who worked and had careers and had ambition.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I remember my 30s kind of looking around me like, I was like living in San Francisco, working in startups, slowly rising, finding that like my integrity mattered, even it took me longer to sell than the average person. I sold really good deals and did what I said I was going to do and like kind of kept at the work. And, but that was I didn't have that as a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old. I had no models close to me.
Wow.
And we didn't have social media. Like
No.
I'm 43. So I didn't have a phone until I graduated from college. I didn't have a
Wow.
computer. I went to a computer lab. So there wasn't even like, you know, you think about young women now, it's so noisy. If anything, I have too many choices.
Totally.
Whereas I was in an echo chamber. I remember moving to the West Coast and people were like, I'm not getting married. I'm going to go have a career. And I was like, what?
Huh?
Who?
What does that mean?
Yeah. Like, what does that
Wow.
mean?
Yeah.
And so it's been a slow journey to have a vision for how I'd want to live my life that includes work and what it will mean for me and what it will mean for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You're just so eloquent.
Sometimes.
No, I mean, I could just talk to you for hours. So why do you think so many women feel guilt after maybe motherhood or inflection points in general? Like I think women especially carry a lot of guilt in like a change or a shift or a, you know.
I think so many of us, and men are doing this too, it looks different. Like we're living out imprints. We're living out modeling. So we're sort of like, this is at least where I've come to, that we grow up in spaces and we see things done a certain way. And either we want to, like we talked about yesterday with your childhood, right? Like we want to go the opposite way or we want to go the way because it feels natural. It feels like, oh, that's what people do. And I realized at some point in mothering that like I'd never seen my mother sit if my dad wasn't sitting.
Whoa.
And I don't think anyone ever told her that
It
she
was
couldn't
just like
sit if it was like this.
natural.
But my whole body would like freak out if I was trying to sit and he wasn't once we had kids. I don't remember feeling that imprint.
Weird.
So I think we have these ways that we
Yeah.
believe and visions that social media,
Totally.
stories,
Shape.
Disney princess movie, like all the things that shape this sort of imprint and expectation. I remember working with one client who was like, yeah, all weekend all I do is work on my house. And I was like, but they worked full time. And I was like, why? She's like, yeah, everybody rests and I don't. And I was like, well, why? And she just was like, well, there's stuff to get done. And so we sort of sat with that a little bit of like, if getting things done around the house brings you joy, then do those things when
Right.
everyone's resting. But if everyone's resting and you just feel taken advantage of, but no one's forcing you to do it. So there's like this thing about default choice where we're living out these ways that we move in the world, the yeses that we have
Mm-hmm.
without a ton of resonance around them. And they can feel terrible. So when you add a child, you flip on this imprint you didn't know about
So true.
that you weren't using.
Well, you're in this new role. Yeah.
Yeah. And then your body's chemistry changes, right? Like when you're
Yes.
pregnant, your ancient brain comes on. I learned this about my second kid. And it's like, yeah, your brain literally thinks about keeping you and the baby alive.
Oof.
And so, yeah, you're going to forget a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it takes years and years and years and years and years and years for like that to fade out from what I've read. And I'm no expert.
Yeah.
But that was so powerful to me to be like, oh, I'm not broken. My brain and body are like, hey, girl,
Yeah.
you going to try to keep a baby alive.
Yeah,
And I
that's
want,
all we're focused on.
and that's all we're focused on.
Yeah.
And I think there's just so much pressure and there's not a lot of shared language. I was just listening to Diabolical Lies, this podcast. And just on the like last 2 days, they're talking about anorexia culture and then just this like whole spin of what gets put on women. And it's weighty, but we don't have to accept it. But there will be consequences.
Yeah. There will be consequences.
There will be in the action of being different in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone will love it.
Mm-hmm.
And your own brain will fight you as you try to live inside these imprints differently for a time. It'll just be like, no, girl, stop. That's wrong.
Get back
It's
in
not,
line.
yeah. And that's like I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So true.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. The holistic psychologist has a great Instagram that a therapist during the season of coming out through my inflection point recommended. And she just talks a lot about like our brain's job is to conserve energy. So if there's like stories that we've told ourselves that we want to break out from, your brain wants to stop you from doing that.
It's work.
And again, I'm no
Yeah.
expert. So like,
Yeah.
but in the way I've received that, it's like, yeah, it's work and it's dissonance in your own mind, much less the dissonance that's created in your life when you stop showing up certain ways. And sometimes people don't fucking care. I'll say like 65% of the time in my life, like nobody cares. I'm doing something radical in me. I'm like, did you just see me like say no to that?
They're
Or
like,
like
"What?"
not whatever. And my world's like, yeah, cool.
It's so true. You're like, oh, yeah, cool.
This episode is brought to you by Chattanooga Shoe Company. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with shoes. It's probably my main addiction when it comes to shopping. One reason I love shoes is they fit in every season of life, and they can still be that statement piece in an outfit. Chattanooga Shoe Company not only curates styles that are cutting edge in the fashion world, but also their shoes are by far the most comfortable pairs that I own. Instead of only wearing the big brands like Adidas and UGG, I love wearing things that not everybody else has. And Chattanooga Shoe Company has introduced me to brands from all over the world that I would have never otherwise known existed. I get compliments on my shoes just about every single day, and I'm so proud when I get to say they're from Chattanooga Shoe Company. Use code HOTC for 10% off your purchase when you shop online at chattanoogashoe.com.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, man.
But the choice feels big.
Do you think that's because they're less evolved or because really you're behind?
I don't know.
Maybe both.
We talked about Brene Brown yesterday. She's like such a huge influence on me. And this question that she brings up in one of her podcasts on like, do you think people are doing the best they can? And this idea that like, if you walk around believing that others are doing the best that they can, then the only person that can control how you act in your life, how you get what you need and want, how you take care of yourself is yourself. And then you can watch other people doing that with a different kindness and generosity.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, oh yeah, it's their job to take care of them. And
Yeah.
it's my job to say yes or no to the things that they're asking me and vice versa. Versus this whole game of shoulds. We're just living in this like massive should pile and no one knows. Well, I don't know. I just was supposed to. I should have. So I did.
should've.
And you're like, what is that? I mean,
Based on what?
yeah, stop shooting yourself.
Yeah.
That sucks. And it's
Quit shitting your
crazy.
pants.
Yeah, when you start listening to yourself, this
Yeah.
like moment of awareness where you're like, I say should a lot. And what would it look like if I said I want to, or I need to, or I don't want that? Even in just the way that you talk to yourself or to the people in your most private places, it can be bewildering.
Totally.
Yeah, there's that. This is an old reference that I still use. In Runaway Bride, Julia Roberts keeps leaving people at the altar, right? And at the end of the movie, she sits down to her eggs to figure out what kind she likes because she's always just liked what her fiance liked. That's kind of radical to
That
like
is
sit down in your life
radical.
and be like, how do I fucking like my eggs?
So true.
And then be like, and realize like, well, I care about my eggs here, but I don't over there. And if you didn't get raised that way, I did not get raised that way. I got raised to just be easy, go along. 4th out of 6 kids. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you got to shift out of going easy to be like, what do I want and need? And how with integrity, right? In Brene Brown's model, there is integrity in there
Yes.
because there's probably a lot of bad things that can happen if we're only all just going after what we want or need. And some of that's happening right now.
Yes.
Which is total horseshit and bad. But with integrity, you can be bold and then you can help other people be bold.
Yeah. So true.
I've started to say yes to things and I'll go, you know what? I'll let you know if my life changes and I can no longer do this.
Ooh.
And people will be like, what do you mean? And I'll be like, well, I know that right now I can handle this. But if something changes and I can't, I will come to you and tell you I can no longer handle this choice of mine. Because there's a danger in saying when you say yes, it's always a yes. Because life changes and you have to change when it pivots.
And then
And kids represent that in a way that like
so true.
before that, you kind of just deal with your choice.
Yeah. And you just feel like, I was raised as like, you committed, so you got to see it through. And there's a certain like great work ethic in me because of that, but I do think it almost puts this pressure on of like, oh, I can't back out of it. I can't change my mind. This can no longer be, aligned with me, but that happens, and it should be okay to stand up and be like, I know I committed, but it's no longer right for me, or I can't do it.
Yeah, and it's not quite a hedging. It's just like that I'm in charge of what I want and need.
Yeah.
And if I can no longer handle this extra commitment I've
Yeah.
made,
I might have to
then
take it
I'm
back.
going to raise my
Yeah.
hand and tell you I can't do it anymore. And
Yeah.
often I get like, that's so great. I worry about taking advantage of you. And now you're telling me that you'll just let me know.
I mean,
And I'm like,
takes the guesswork out of it too.
yeah, yeah.
That's so nice.
And I don't know if you feel like this after having children, but like our kids are going to watch what we do. And that is what is going to stick with them. Not what we said, not who we think we are, but our actions. I actually want my kids to be bold enough to quit things they hate or to leave places that are bad for them and to not say that hard work is staying in bad places
Oof.
or taking on more than you can handle and not knowing how to take any of them away
Yeah.
or ask for help. Like
Manage your plate. Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
balance is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
That's
total
good.
horseshit. It's just a choice.
It's just a choice.
And you get where all your yeses take you. You just have the opposite side where there's just no's.
Girl. You're speaking to me right now. Damn.
I know I won't have anything left in my coaching, so
You
good.
really
I'm
are.
really,
I know. Honestly, I'm like, guys, this is gold, okay? Listen
Uh,
up. Oh God. Okay. Let's pivot to if
yeah,
someone reaches out to you.
yeah.
What is it often like what most often are they saying they need? Do you think they even like know? Like, is it almost kind of funny? Like you're thinking to yourself, you think you need that, but like, okay, yeah, and I'll take you on. And then by the end, they're like so surprised. Or
It just depends. I
yeah.
mean, some people have been like waiting to have the conversation about something that really matters,
Yeah.
right? So it's not a surprise. Um, yeah, I think it's funny. Like when I first started, I really was mainly doing kind of life and career coaching
Hmm.
because I'd worked for so long and in really dynamic and um, environments that taught me a lot, through osmosis. And I wanted to use that stuff. I like couldn't stay in the life lane because I was like, tell me about your job and what's it like and how's the politics of it and what are you making? And like, I was like,
Yeah.
let's get in there. And in the middle of that, a lot of my clients have like taken me to the places that I am.
Hmm.
And or I'm like, ooh, like I'm doing business coaching now. And it kept coming from like, I really love being in the middle of someone's business. I want to know why they're doing it, why they got started, where they're going, what's their ideal client, like what can they charge that ideal client, what's capacity like,
Hmm.
what do they want in this business, and like I want to know all those things. And when I was like first launching out into my coaching career, I listened to a lot of Brene Brown podcasts, and she interviews Jim Collins,
Hmm.
and his Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0 and some of his other books are so powerful when you think about just why you do what you do and who you work with. It's like first chapter is about having the right people in the right seats on the bus.
Oh man. Preach.
Not product,
Nope.
not mission, not a fancy website,
Not marketing.
not
No.
marketing. It's like who
Is
are the
with you.
right people on the bus with you, and can you have like 90% of them in the right seat at most of the time, right? That's kind of his thing. And when I read it, I was like, oh, my tech leaders were reading this when I was working. It was like kind of all over the way they talked about the tech scene. But yeah, some of it was clients moving into spaces and me being like, I want to help. How do I do that? And others was like, what gives me a lot of energy?
Hmm.
And you and I talked about having like audacious income goals and being like, oh, I'm never going to work enough to make audacious income one-on-one, or not with the kind of client I want to work
Yeah.
with. And so figuring out like, how do I piece together sort of a product line within what I can offer
Yeah.
that allows me still to like help the everyday person,
Yes.
but also step into a business and be like, that business could spend different money to support their work and I could drive a lot of value
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and help them make changes
Yeah.
and or just have a different perspective
Yes.
on the work that they're doing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh. How much of like career confusion do you find is like sometimes like just identity confusion?
Oh, yeah.
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 Tons.
It's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I sent it to you yesterday, but I have this like wheel.
The wheel.
And it's like set apart with just the different like areas of our life. And often when we think of our a life as adult, it's just a C. It's like one big
Mhm.
circle and it's called career. And it's like, no, actually you have your health, you have money, you have your family, you have relationships, you have the physical environment that you're in. You have like
Yes.
all these pieces, and career or your job is just
Yes.
like one slice.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you change your job, you're still standing in whatever grass you've moved to.
Yeah.
And I remember my early career feeling like, okay, I'm going to get this new job. It's going to be so awesome. And be like, no, I'm still standing in that fucking grass. Like I'm still me.
Yes.
And unless I'm changing while the work is changing, I will run into these same problems
Yeah.
eventually
Yep.
because
So
you
true.
can't outrun yourself.
Mm-mm.
And I think we expect, like when we watched our parents' generation, you think there's just like a job or like a thing. And I think so much of adulting is it's just not that at all.
No.
It's like these seasons that you move in and out of often, and you don't even know you've like closed a chapter as you're opening this other one, and your needs change. And you're your identity, depending on how you're wired, us threes, is so wrapped up in it if you're
It
not
is.
careful.
It is.
There's not choice around what you're giving away or what you're letting it mean to you. But it is interesting generationally, like what the 20-somethings want and how they think about their careers different than what I find in the 30-something, different than how I think about it in the 40s, and different than some of the women I've worked with, men and women in their 50s. Like
Yeah.
the imprint's different.
Yeah.
And what they're willing to give up and or think about in their 20s is
So different.
so different.
Do you work with a lot of people in their 20s?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
but
you
I
just
work
have.
hard to try to
Yeah.
like stay connected.
Yeah, it's important. It's
to-
fascinating, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm mid-30s, but like the mid-20s just feels like worlds away already, like from just
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, it's just crazy how 10 years just does make a big difference from like what they saw their parents doing versus what even I saw my parents doing or whatever it is.
Well, and it's hard to come out right now.
Yeah.
Like I've told you this yesterday, we started this thing called Standing Invite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me and two other women. And it's a idea of just creating a space for connection and conversation with women around work and life. And it is a little bit of like, things that I don't know, and I know things that you don't know, and they know things that we don't know. And our life is so disconnected that we can miss out on the shared knowledge of it all. And the like, how can I pull you through the door or kick down a wall or share a tip or buy your product or be like, no, girl, don't do that. This is like not you, whatever that is.
Right.
Like, can we create spaces where we help each other through the toughest parts of each season?
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
And it's like, we just need each other, and we don't share knowledge the same way that we used to. And we feel so disconnected and lonely.
Mm-hmm. And even with like social media, you think, oh, like I feel so connected to what people are doing and using through influencers. And it's like, but is that even real? Or
When
are they
they're
just getting
just-
paid? Or like,
Yeah.
it's so disconnected because you're like, can I even believe this? Like, what even is this?
Right.
And every ad is telling you just need it to be successful or healthy or whatever, so
Right.
you're just like, what? Like, there can't
Yeah.
be this many things I need to be like good. Like,
Yeah,
we're
and
so
it's like,
inundated.
it looks like everyone's happy.
Yes.
And unless they're being really vulnerable, that it was easy.
Yeah. So true.
That they get hired the first job, or that they knew in college exactly what they wanted to
Oh,
do. Or
dear.
that everybody wants to buy whatever it is they're selling. And it's like, no, it's
No.
hard.
Hard.
And work
Hard.
is boring or way too challenging. Or, I mean, it's like
Yeah,
the spectrum of
issues are vast.
issues there.
Yes.
Yeah. And if we don't tell each other, we don't know. And we're all just living in this, like, I think it's just me.
No, we're not on silos. We're not
Yeah.
in silos. We're not on
No.
islands.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing with Standing Invite. That's awesome. What's kind of the most common thing people are afraid of or admit in your sessions?
This episode is brought to you by Sweet Ease Children's Boutique. Sweet Ease has the best selection of kids' clothes from newborn all the way through teen. And especially as a boy mom, it is so nice to have styles and options that actually fit our vibe. The sweat sets, the cool trucker hats, the shoes, but of course also the holiday jammies and the special occasion outfits. They've got everything. They have 2 locations in Chattanooga. They do personalization with their monogramming in-house, and they have a full online store. Use code HOTC for 10% off your entire purchase in-store or online.
I think it's mainly just feeling really stuck in choice.
Mm-hmm.
That they've lived life a certain way, and that their yeses are just like, that's where they are. That's where my yeses are. And sometimes they are. So like, I always want to be really careful. Like, there's a lot of situations where, yeah, you don't get to say no to other things, or no, say yes to different things. But often we are holding ourselves captive in our beliefs around what it means to do something differently. James Clear's been a pretty big, impactful author for me. And he's the Atomic Habits guy, but he's really a values guy. He's really about how do you live a life where your values show up, and then you build habits that support you showing up in those values. And
Man.
so coaching ends up being a lot of habits and values work because we are what we do.
So true. Yes.
And to become different, you have to
Do
change
different.
how you're at least being in your doing.
Mm-hmm.
How am I showing up for myself in the act of what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do I do the hard thing of like saying no to something else so I can say yes to the thing?
Yeah.
What will it take?
Yeah.
A lot of it's courage. Sometimes it's money.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like really hard conversations with people in our lives that we've just not had them
Mm-hmm.
yet. And the fear of them, just the fear of the conversation. It's like the boundaries.
Crippling.
You're like, they're going to hate me for it. And often they just don't even notice.
Nah. Yeah, it's so true.
But sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
You're like, I'm not that good.
No. I don't get to be in those
Oh,
conversations.
gosh.
But yeah, it's a lot of fear and just how do I, we can feel such victims in our stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are, little and big V, right? And it's like, but other times we really can be in action
Mm-hmm.
and can change the way we view our time and what we do. And, you think about with your work, if in 5 years you want to have a whole thing under your name and you're running a bunch of businesses and you're supporting all these people and you're like, God, that'll be awesome. So you come back to today. Well, everything you do today based on that future vision of yourself gives new meaning to what you're looking at. It gives new meaning to every conversation that you have. It gives new meaning to everything that you try. But if we're only in the like tree, we're just like stuck in our like moment by moment life by choice, by whatever it is, then it's hard to create the meaning
Yeah.
that makes it so magnificent.
Which probably creates the burnout.
Creates a ton of burnout.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I'm like, oh, in 3 years, I think I want to be a VP and I'm a director. What would it be like to try to learn 3 things this year as a director that would help me become a VP? Or like, who could I get to know that will champion me?
Mm-hmm.
Or what would I need to do to move to the next level? Or if like, no, I want to go run my own business and I think I want to be an artist. You're like, that's amazing. Well, like, let's make some art this year and go sell it.
Yeah.
Or
That'd
like,
be a great step.
let's spend some time in the thing
Totally.
that you believe you want and be like, do I love it? Does anybody want to buy it? It's like,
exactly.
how do
Temp
we
check. Yeah.
test in safe waters
Mm-hmm.
against these dreams that we hold?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about building like a healthy career pivot. Okay. Talk about giving away a little bit of coaching.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay. So if someone listening knows something needs to shift, what are some non-negotiables of a healthy career pivot?
Healthy is a tricky word.
And it's probably so person to person.
It's
right?
very person to person, but I think a little bit is like, what are the rules in my game? Like when I was thinking of leaving, we had to go look at our budget. Like I had to like get down into the nitty gritty of like, okay, if we completely yank away one whole salary, can we make it? And we couldn't. It was skinny.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal. And we had to do the numbers. And we had to both be on board.
Yes.
Right?
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
So some of it's just like that practical, like if it's from something steady to something unsteady, it's like, can I make this work? And how long do I have to make it work? Right? Like if you're a single person and you're like, I want to go build my own business, let's go. I'm like, that's awesome. Wait.
Hold up. Yeah.
What is that thing? And what can you make? And how long will it take you to make?
Yes.
And can you be doing things for the next 6 months to a year to create an environment where, oh, you've created 6 months of living savings. So you actually have 6 months to go like all in. Right?
Yeah.
Or if it's like, I want to switch the path in my career, right? So I'm in sales and maybe I want to go to product, or I'm in product, I want to become an engineer, or holy shit, AI's here. Like, how do I embrace AI and become an engineer? Like, what does that look like? Well, trying to break the problem down to like, again, it's that like future of like, in a year, I want to be here. Then you got to set all these short term goals
Yes.
against yourself on what it looks like to do different, to start taking a class online, to start interviewing people about the job that they do, to see if there's anything inside your company. I mean, getting hired, from my own experience, getting hired at a place to do a job you've never done, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Talking an employer in on letting you try something, if you've earned respect, they trust you, they like you, more likely, right? So it's like,
Yes.
even being like, hey, at 10% of my time this year, I really want to learn this thing. Can I join this project? I'm still going to finish my work in my 90%. But sometimes I think we think it's like, I mean, I did the all in or out, where I was just like out. And whenever people have been like, I think you'd be a great coach, you ask the weirdest questions. So it's like, thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
I went all out, but I could have done it so differently.
Yeah.
I could have been like, what would it look like
Side hustle first.
to have a client?
Yes.
And to have another client. And then what would I charge them? And when would I meet them? What do I have to give up?
Yes.
Could I go to 4 days of work a week instead of 5? While, so there is this, the instant gratification is tricky, because often when you see people doing that, you haven't seen the year of savings, the things on the side for the 3 years before that, all the interviews, all the testing, sometimes people get lucky, but when you research luck, a lot of it has to do with like the continued work of it.
Yeah, so true.
And like Jim Collins talks about, all businesses get lucky. Businesses that last are watching out for their luck so they can make good choices in the luck.
Capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, and the others, they miss it. They don't even know they're getting,
They
they're
don't even know
getting
they're
lucky
while they're lucky.
because they've missed out on it, because they're not expecting it to happen, or not thinking about how these different things will sort of shift their business.
Yeah, so true. Oh man, that's gold. I love it. I think it's nice to be reminded that if you're thinking at all about a change, whether it be in life or in business, really,
Right.
that it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't necessarily have to be the bomb is dropped and now you're this, It's like, no, there can be a plan. There can be like a bit more of a calculated, systemic way to get there that's going to be viable for really anyone. You're just going to have to be willing to work and have that plan, which
Well, it's sacrifice, it's
Yes.
discipline,
yes.
it's patience.
Yeah, it's not
And
gonna
all
be,
those things are hard.
They're hard, which is probably why
Yeah.
a lot of people avoid it. But I think also just the lack of even knowing where to start, which is I think where someone like you comes in, is just that
Right.
breath of fresh air of, like you said, that partnership to jump off the cliff together is just so much easier. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you're doing. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is breaking it down into bite-sized things to like reprove to yourself that the thing that you think that you want,
Yes.
like early in my 20s, I remember I wanted to do triathlons, and we were like super broke and couldn't really afford many things. And so my very first triathlon, I borrowed my friend's kid's bike and did the bike portion on that bike. I got lost.
That's amazing.
I took a left instead of a right, and like I'd like got out ahead, and then when I didn't come back, my husband was like, "Where is she?"
Oh no.
And I remember passing these bikers, and they were like, the triathlon's that way." But I kind of proved to myself I'd ride the bike.
And guess what? You did it.
And I did it. And so then I went and got a nicer thing. But I think sometimes, for the perfectionists out there, and I'm a control freak, but I'm not a perfectionist. I think they're different. You want the perfect environment to go do anything. And scrappiness is actually making environments good enough to get started. The quote, I think it's Roosevelt, but like, don't let perfect stand in the way of good. I try to put those everywhere.
Yes.
Because while I'm working on something that's good enough to learn from, someone else is working on the perfect thing. So I might get to do 3 iterations. Like I remember manager being like, yeah, if I can move quickly and just be willing to learn and try again, I could be 6 iterations into the person who's like not even
launched.
Like, I didn't have a website for my business for 3.5 years. I didn't need a website. I could have built one, but my mentor coach was like, well, who are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
Like, do you even know what you're selling? I'm going to be like, I don't. So I didn't build it based on that feedback until I knew what I was selling. And now that's pivoted again, and I need to update it. It's like,
yeah. Yes. You don't know what you you don't know what you need till you are in it and really living it.
Yeah, and you're like, what are people buying? What
Yeah.
are they willing to pay?
Yeah.
What does it take to like, what is
Yes.
capacity? How much work
Yes.
does something take and how much energy does something give?
I love it. Yeah, and I love that you have with this passion and with your craft, like you're not just a one size fits all. Like, I was first introduced to your work in a group setting at a workshop, which
Yep.
was very, to me, that was an approachable way to try, one of our good mutual friends and like was like, Amy, you have to go like interact with Ruth. You're just gonna love her. I think you need to get to know her. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to this workshop. So it is great, but like how awesome, because you're not gonna capture every of your ideal client, no matter what field you're in just one way
No.
necessarily. Like you do kind of have to get creative and meet people where they are and let people have different entry points that feel different, look different, or different price points. And I feel like you just do such a great job with that. I mean, you have your workshops, you've done is it running start? What is it?
Oh, driver's seat,
Seat.
which is a cohort based sort of like,
Yes.
how do we allow the group learning that's so stunning and group vulnerability, and then the like, it's cheaper to do it that way
Yeah.
because there's more of you showing
Of
up.
course. Yeah. And then the one-on-ones and and now it's just more of a community invitation.
Yeah,
which is
standing invite is
beautiful.
like, how do we
Just
I mean, a
grow
rising tide
together.
lifts all boats. So like, I want to rise the tide.
Mm,
I want the women's boats and men's boats around me to rise up.
I love it. Yeah. And you just know you're gonna be better for it. It's like that's what's and that's not why you're doing it, but it's just that's such a beautiful byproduct. Like you're doing it because you love it and you have such a heart for it, but it's not gonna hurt you. Like you're gonna be so much better. You're gonna learn so much, you're gonna meet new people. Yeah, it's so great. Okay, a few kind of like closing thoughts and questions. So like if one of your kids comes to you when they're 30 and they are like, I'm miserable in my career, I'm scared of a change, what are you going to say?
Man, just trying to picture their cute little faces as 30-year-olds. Well, one, I hope they come to me.
So true.
Right? Like, I hope I've built the relationship that they can come in a place of like fear or failure or uncertainty, and that I've cultivated humility to like stand in that space with them.
And just the fact that you have the thought that they might not, I think tells you everything.
Man, when I think about like, if I can raise my kids well, it's like, can I apologize to them for the things that I've done that I can't see now that have like fucked them up, that I did with a good heart. That's what my goal is like, I raise kids that'll come tell me the hard things.
Yes.
And that I can sit with myself, even if I was like, I didn't mean to mess up, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'd be with them. I mean, my husband and I's journey into adulthood has been really messy. And like, we worked in retail, and he's worked at a gas station with like a bachelor's and a master's. He's started over a bunch. Like, I would just say, like, we're here for you and we love you, and like, we will help you in any way possible. And what you do is not your identity. Sometimes it is just how you pay your bills.
Damn. Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that is okay. And like, how do we figure out what that is so that you can pivot, so that you can do something different? I mean, there's so much about what the world will be like for our kids when they're in their 30s, of like, white collar work is changing and the world is transforming with that AI. And like, I don't even know how we be good advice givers to our children, because their world's going to be so different than ours.
It's true.
But trying to be healthy enough to be with them and to stay with it enough to try to know anything or how to get them the right help. Because it might not be me. Because like, I won't, in 30 years, I'll be 73. And like, it's like, I hope I know a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm so grounded.
Yeah.
And like, I hope that we build a world with safe guardrails to take care of all the kids out there.
I know. Agreed.
My kids and all the other kids that don't have their privilege. Like,
I know. Oh, yeah. That's heavy, but I agree.
Sorry, that's not lighter.
No, I mean, it's real. And I think, this morning, actually, You'll appreciate. I was listening to my meditation on the way here. I was just
Yeah, you
starting it.
were.
I just wanted to have a first listen. I know
Mm.
I'm supposed to be in like a quiet
No,
space,
whatever.
but
I told you.
like, hey, I got to get it done where I can. So a really cool thing that Ruth does is she sends kind of this vision that I thought I was really intrigued by. Like that was the one thing in the email I was like couldn't wait to start listening to. And of course, within like the first like 30 seconds, I'm already crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? Like, because you're tired and all things, but also like what is important about envisioning our future self? Like, what is that? Because that's what the vision is that
Yeah.
you're that you
Yeah.
that
Yeah. You're
you
taking a moment to be with a version of yourself you haven't become yet.
I mean, that's so powerful.
And like all that sits with it. When I went through my coaching certification with Coactive, they're awesome. Loved that program. They just talk a lot about how like, you know, kind of sometimes a quandary of therapy is it's rooted backwards. We're learning from our lives about ourselves.
Ooh, that's so
But that
true.
rooting doesn't move you. You sort of like sit in the same things. And it's so powerful. Like I'm currently in therapy again. I'm currently using the internal family systems. I
Same.
love it. But in coaching, in that training, they talked a lot about how dreams move us. They push us to act differently. They push us to be bold. They push us to think about the world that we're in not being just quite like it is right now and how our action can impact that. And, as children, we're asked what we're going to do when we get big a lot. And as adults, that stops. We get asked what we do, but we're not like, what are you going to do in 5 years?
Yeah.
You're like, ugh.
Who are you becoming? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you'd
like
be
you're
like,
gonna ask
who
that.
are you becoming?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's something so powerful about like taking a moment with
Yeah,
yourself to be
so
like,
true.
who do I want to be out there? And knowing that in vision work, it changes. So like you do this one now, in a year you re-listen to that. Amy out there changes. Her kids have changed. Your spouse might want different things. You might have like found something in the last year, but it's the dreaming that does it. Because goals without dreams, they can feel a little loose. Like, why am I pursuing this thing?
Yeah. So true. You got to have an emotional attachment to it.
Yeah. That's sort of like creating the why around why would you be any different? Because it's easy to be the same. Your brain certainly wants you to stay in whatever grooves that you've created.
Yeah.
That
Your
are
brain's like,
that
hey,
are
hold
safe.
up. You're spending a lot of energy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut that shit out.
Yeah. Man. Well, if you guys can't tell, I've drank the Kool-Aid of Ruth Galpin, and I am excited to keep on my journey with you. And I just know you already have touched so many people, and you're going to touch so many people. And I'm just so honored to have shared little nuggets from your wild and amazing brain today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
What a treat. It is really rad to see you love on these businesses.
Oh, thank you.
And want to champion them and help them tell their stories, because every small business is run by a human.
So
and
true.
that human is doing that job for a very specific reason, whether it was pragmatic or passion or hobby or someone gave it to them or whatever it is. And that matters to think about. Like I remember my very first sales job was selling to small business owners. And I thought, that's so powerful because small businesses run our country.
Yes.
And like, how do we get to know them better? How do we make good products for them? How do we support them? So Scout Guide, Amy, your team.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Cheers.
I do want to ask one last question. You got to fill in the blank. The
Okay.
heart of Ruth Galpin Inflection Point Coaching is
Abundance.
ooh, abundance, man.
There's like space for both of it's the belief that I don't have to compete against everybody. And like there is space for us. It is like a lie that women specifically have been told that if I can win, then no one else gets to win because there's only one spot. And what a shame. And it's like, but if I believe in abundance, we can all have some.
I love it. You're sitting at a big table.
Man, let's get at a big fucking table,
big
man.
table. Pass the courses. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Aw, I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.